You're listening to the WrestleHavoc Podcast on YouTube, where we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. We talk all that goes on in the realm of WWE and AEW every week. And now, here's your host, the one that will give you a reality check on pro wrestling, Flamin' Ricky DeReyes. This is the WrestleHavoc Podcast.
WrestleMania Night 1 is in the history books, ladies and gentlemen. And it's safe to say WrestleMania Night 1 ended with an emotional bang. What's up, everybody? It is Flamin' Ricky DeReyes, right here on the WrestleHavoc Podcast, here to review WrestleMania 39 Night 1. Holy crap. What can I say about this show? WrestleMania, I've always came on here, and I came on here last year, and I talked about how good WrestleMania Night 1 was last year. And I always stated that WrestleMania actually felt like WrestleMania. This show tonight, the first night of WrestleMania 39, 110% felt like a legit WrestleMania. Almost every match on the card was fantastic. There were not really that much duds on this show. If anything, I don't even think there were really any duds on this show. For a couple of matches that I did not really care about, oh my God, they exceeded my expectations. Overall, this show was fan-fucking-tastic. I love touting fan-fucking-tastic a lot, but this was a certified fantastic show, in my opinion. Lots of things happened on this show. We had, of course, the opening match of John Cena versus Austin Theory for the U.S. title. The WrestleMania showcase match, which blew everybody's expectations and was amazing. Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul. Fantastic match as well. The involvement of KSI was just out of this world. Damage Control taking on Becky, Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus. Another great match. Trish Stratus basically blew everybody away during that match. We also had, of course, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. And some people actually wanted this match to be the main event of WrestleMania. Let me assure you, if you put that match in the main event of WrestleMania, if WWE had put that match in the main event of WrestleMania, everybody would have been completely disappointed. The spot that they had on this show was the match before the main event. Charlotte and Rhea Ripley absolutely tore down the house and was probably one of the best women's matches this year alone. Amazing, amazing stuff. And of course, the main event, that being the Usos taking on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. A roller coaster of emotions. Everybody was on their A game. The atmosphere in SoFi Stadium was just unreal. 8 months of storytelling of Sami Zayn being a part of the bloodline, then being executed out of the bloodline, and the whole reunion of Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. It is safe to say that the Usos' reign of terror as the undisputed tag team champions are over, and Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are your new undisputed WWE tag team champions. Introduction was very well for WrestleMania, for this review, for this amazing show. But overall, I thought WrestleMania was a fantastic show, and we're only getting started. We have tomorrow night, and tomorrow night is going to be huge as well, of course. Cody Rhodes is going to be wrestling Roman Reigns in the main event. Are the cracks starting to show with the bloodline? I don't know, man, but we're going to have to wait and see. But overall, man, I thought night 1 of WrestleMania will probably go down as one of the best pay-per-views of this year. Probably the best, in my opinion, man. The spectacle, production, the atmosphere, everything about this show was just perfection, in my opinion. This was a show that you can definitely call WrestleMania. WrestleMania this year, or on this night, I should say, we don't know about tomorrow night. This year's WrestleMania, now WrestleMania Night 1, actually felt like WrestleMania. And speaking of WrestleMania, I kind of wanted to mention something. What are my thoughts on the set design? The set design is beautiful. The set for this year's WrestleMania, man, I loved the theme of WrestleMania Goes Hollywood. This is the second time that they've done this. Of course, the first time was back in 2005, but they were only in Staples Center. Now they're at SoFi Stadium, and just the stadium and just the look of the show, the set, just, oh my God. I wouldn't be mad at you if you told me that this was probably the best WrestleMania set of all time. This probably would top WrestleMania 33, in my opinion. This set was just amazing. Just the view, everything about it was just awesome as hell. But overall, man, WrestleMania Night 1 is definitely a show to remember. But yeah, those are my initial thoughts for WrestleMania Night 1. Before I get on with all this craziness regarding WrestleMania, make sure to like and subscribe to the WrestleHavoc Podcast right here on YouTube, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content. And as the frickin' referee would say, ring, ring, ring that damn bell for more notifications. Also, the WrestleHavoc Podcast is also available on audio platforms. It is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and Google Podcasts. So if you guys want to listen to the WrestleHavoc Podcast in audio format, it is available on all of those platforms. All right, let's get in to WrestleMania 39 Night 1. The host of WrestleMania, The Miz, kicks off the show in the ring with the one and only Snoop D-O-double-G, Snoop Dogg. He welcomes all of us to WrestleMania with his friend Snoop D-O-double-G, Snoop Dogg. And Miz talks about how they have a lot in common. Snoop is a multi-platinum recording artist. He was in WrestleMania the musical. Snoop has been in 80 films. Miz was on the Marine 3, 4, 5, and 6. He is a 2-time Grand Slam champion. And then later on, Snoop kind of looks at him and he's like, are we really the same? And Snoop says that it ain't about us champions. It's about these champions, meaning all of us. And Miz runs down basically the match that we were going to see at WrestleMania tonight. And then that led us to our first match of the evening, that being Austin Theory defending his United States Championship against the 16-time world champion, the greatest of all time. And Michael Cole constantly stated that on commentary. And let's be honest with ourselves, as a kid that grew up watching John Cena, I can't really disagree with that. Maybe a lot of older fans may disagree with that. They may say Hogan, Austin, or Rock. But let's be honest with ourselves, the last big star from the WWE was definitely John Cena. So you can't really blame Michael Cole for calling John Cena the greatest of all time. But we had the U.S. title match kick off the show. What are my overall thoughts on this match? A relatively not long match. Of course, this was the opening match of the show. Great way to open up WrestleMania, in my opinion. This was definitely for the U.S. title, and it was pretty obvious that Austin Theory was going to walk out still the United States champion. Considering the fact that John Cena has this brutal Hollywood schedule, it would make no sense for John Cena to win the United States Championship. And also, the story of the match is basically, if you really think about it, a kind of passing of the torch, if that would basically make any sense. You know, it was definitely a passing of the torch type scenario with John Cena and Austin Theory. But Austin Theory ends up getting the win over John Cena, doing a lot of heel tactics. But overall, I thought this was a great opening match for WrestleMania. John Cena makes his entrance, and he comes out with all of the, not all of the people that he did, all of the kids that he made Make-A-Wishes with, but he came out with kids that were doing Make-A-Wish for WrestleMania, so he comes out with them, and great standing ovation for John Cena. John Cena was definitely super over at SoFi Stadium. But we're going to be talking about the match. Both lock up. We get a side headlock by Austin Theory, followed by a shoulder tackle by John Cena. Both then lock up again. We then get a side headlock by John Cena, followed by a shoulder tackle by John Cena. Then both lock up once again, and Theory tries to bite the ear of John Cena. And then Theory retreats to the outside while John Cena turns over to the referee. And then what happens? Theory comes back and goes after John Cena. Theory then goes for the suplex, and then we get a cover and a near fall. After that, Theory hits a suplex on John Cena. We then get a cover by Theory and a near fall. Cena then hits a suplex of his own. After that, we get a right hand by Cena, and then by Theory. Cena then goes for repeated rights, and then Cena runs into an elbow. Theory then, hits a neck breaker after that. We get a cover by Theory and a near fall. Theory then goes to the top, but then he hits the one and only rolling shotgun drop kick, and he goes for the cover once again and a near fall. Theory goes to the top. At this point, Theory is on the apron, but then Cena counters the rolling shotgun drop kick and applies the STF submission. But then while Theory has the STF submission applied on him, Theory once again bites John Cena, but not in the ear. He bites John Cena on his hand. And then after that, Theory proceeds to take out John Cena. And then he goes for repeated rights on Cena after that. He follows up with a back elbow, and then Theory stomps at Cena and goes for the cover. He goes for the near fall. And then Theory stomps once again at John Cena. He stomps at him again. And then he actually tries to stomp him for a third time, but then John Cena blocks him. Cena manages to pick him up, but then Theory counters and hits a DDT. After that, we get a cover and a near fall. Theory then goes for the clothesline on John Cena in the corner. Cena then escapes into the corner, but then Cena goes for the right hand. At this point, both men exchange shots. Theory then applies a sleeper hold on John Cena, and Cena gets up on his feet. At this point, Theory is behind John Cena, and then Cena gets up once again, but then Theory gets taken into the corner. He then hits a shoulder tackle. He goes for the second shoulder tackle. John Cena goes for the side slam. You know what this is. He sets up, goes for the you can't see me, then hits the 5-knuckle shuffle. He picks up Theory. It looks like he's about to go for the AA, FU, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm going to call it the FU. He looks like he's about to go for the FU, but what happens is Theory gets his hands on the ropes, and then the referee manages to get knocked down. Cena then applies the STF, which then leads to Theory to tap out, but there is no referee. Cena then Theory hits a low blow on John Cena, and what happens, he picks up John Cena and hits the A-Town down. We get a cover, and due to heel tactics, Austin Theory beats John Cena and retains the United States Championship in the biggest match of his career. Overall thoughts on this match: this was definitely the right way, in my opinion, to open up WrestleMania. Overall thoughts on this match: this match was everything that it needed to be. Austin Theory is 100% going to be a star in the making, especially after this match. You know, they touted this as Austin Theory's biggest match of his career, and this was very much that. And the fact that he beat John Cena, now he's going to tout that constantly for the next couple of months. Austin Theory, whether you like it or not, and I definitely did not see that in last year, but this year, the way that they have been booking Austin Theory, I mean, Austin Theory is definitely going to be a future world champion. He's not going to be a world champion now or this year, but he's definitely getting there, and he's going to be a part of that main event scene in the next couple of years. I guarantee you. John Cena as well looked great, fantastic. John Cena was one of my biggest, childhood, wrestlers. I grew up watching John Cena. I was a huge fan of John Cena as a kid, and seeing him now, man, I don't know, man. It was freaking emotional in my opinion, but the fact that John Cena actually managed to wrestle at WrestleMania, it was just an awesome sight in my opinion. But Austin Theory is now, or not now, he is still the United States champion. All right, back to WrestleMania. We got our WrestleMania showcase match with Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy versus the Viking Raiders. Overall thoughts on this match: this was a match that I did not give a single damn about at all when they announced this. Because keep in mind, when they first announced this match honestly felt like a match that was just thrown together for the sake of putting people on the card. That is exactly what I felt about this match. And then the Fatal 4-Way match last night on SmackDown happened, and I thought it was very good. But it's still, I wasn't really caring much about this match, and going into this match, I didn't really care a lot about what the hell was going to be going on. But I will say this: I was completely blown away from the shit that I saw in this match. The shit that I saw in this match, holy damn. A lot of crazy spots happened in this match, and I marked the fuck out for a lot of those. I just did, man. Like, a lot of this shit was just so fucking awesome. You know, let's go through the match and let's talk about all these different spots that transpired, because sometimes some of these spots that I'm about to name you, or like just about to like mention it right here on this review, are stuff that you just really can't think about. Like, Jesus Christ. Chad Gable and Ricochet start. Gable applies the ankle lock. We then get a side headlock takeover by Ricochet, and then we get a takedown by Gable, and then Ricochet goes for the bridge, and then we get a near fall. Gable then goes for the backslide, and he goes for the near fall once again. Otis then tags in. He takes out Ricochet, and then Braun Strowman makes the tag. Everybody comes into the ring, and then everybody brawls with one another. We then get a heel kick by Ivar, and then the Raiders at this point are gaining the advantage. We then get a springboard lariat German suplex combination by the Viking Raiders. After that, they hit the Ragnarok on Ford. Strowman is behind him at this point. We then get the double shoulder tackle on by the Raiders. And then from behind, Gable tries to hit the German suplex, but then Strowman manages to pick him up. But then what happens? Chad Gable escapes and hits the rolling German suplex on Braun Strowman. How was that possible? I have absolutely no fucking idea. We go for the cover and a near fall. Gable then goes to the top, but then Dawkins tags himself in. And Gable misses the flying headbutt, but then Ivar tags himself in as well. Dawkins then misses the Swanton bomb. Ivar then goes to the second rope, and then he turns around and then he goes to the top. He misses the moonsault, and then Strowman goes to the top and manages to hit the splash. After that, we get a cover on Ivar and a near fall. Otis then goes for the world's strongest slam on Braun Strowman. Otis then goes to the top, and then Montez Ford goes for the kick. He goes for the top. He goes to the top once again, but then Ricochet goes to the top. Ford then knocks him down. After that, Ford goes to the top, and then everybody comes in. What happens when everybody comes in? A whole Tower of Doom spot just transpires. They all have Ford up, and Ricochet hits a fucking clothesline off the top. Like, how is that possible? Holy shit. Dawkins then tags in. Strowman then takes him out. At this point, everybody's on the outside. Strowman runs through everybody. He runs into a shoulder tackle, though, by Dawkins with a huge pop. Holy fucking shit. And then he proceeds to fight off Eric from the Viking Raiders. And then Ricochet, out of nowhere, hits a beautiful springboard shooting star splash. After that, Ricochet goes to the top. He manages to hit the shooting star, but then Dawkins gets the knees up. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Montez Ford hits the crossbody, and we get a cover, and the Street Profits get the win. Nice little nod to the finish that was very similar on the Fatal 4-Way match on SmackDown the night before, but the Street Profits get the win due to the frog splash by Montez Ford. Overall thoughts, again, this match blew away all of my expectations. I mean, you knew coming in the match was going to be definitely good, but like, this match had no right to be good whatsoever. This match, in my opinion, I'm being honest, even though I like all the talent involved in this match, I definitely felt like this was definitely a bathroom break match, but Jesus Christ, WWE blew this match out of the goddamn water, in my opinion. And hats off to everybody involved in this match. This match was just absolutely insane. Some of the spots, man, you know, Braun Strowman with the splash off the top, Gable hitting Braun Strowman with a German suplex. I mean, like, how the hell is that possible? But we actually managed to see that. And overall, the WrestleMania Showcase match was definitely a great match. And this was only the second match on the card, and there's still a lot left to go. Definitely now a WrestleMania caliber match, in my opinion. We got our next match. We got Seth Rollins versus the Maverick himself, Logan Paul. I will say the build was not really, in my opinion, the best for this match, but overall, we all knew coming in that the match was going to be fantastically well executed because we all know the caliber of the talent, the in-ring talent, I should say, that Logan Paul is. Logan Paul, say what you want about Logan Paul, but Logan Paul is top-notch. For his rookie year, Logan Paul has had some banger matches in the WWE for the few matches that he has had. And his match against Roman Reigns was fantastic. His other matches were great as well. His involvement in the Royal Rumble this past January was amazing as well. Logan Paul definitely, is here to stay in my opinion. And I believe Logan Paul's contract is up now. So WWE would be foolish enough not to re-sign Logan Paul, in my opinion. Overall, this match that he had with Seth Rollins was amazing, fantastic, amazed with all the athleticism, but at the same time, definitely entertaining because of the fact that KSI actually got involved in this match as well. But we're going to be going through this match. Seth Rollins comes out basically with this orchestrator, and he is basically asking all of us to, sing along with Seth Rollins' amazing theme song. And then before the match even starts, the crowd is just singing his song. 80,000 people at SoFi Stadium are just singing his song. You can tell how over Seth Rollins is. Literally, give this man anything he wants after this. But let's go through the match. The match officially starts. We get a side headlock by Rollins, followed by a shoulder tackle. And then we get a kick by Rollins. Rollins then misses the stomp, and then Logan Paul gets up on his feet. At this point, both men face off. Rollins gets taken to the outside, and Logan is in the ring mocking Seth Rollins. Rollins then goes after Logan in the ring. Logan then tries to run out of harm's way on the outside, but then Logan regains control. He then hits a kick onto the side of the head of Rollins, and Logan hits, and yes, I'm going to call it this, he hits the buckshot lariat. Logan then goes for a body shot on the midsection on Seth Rollins, and he goes for repeated body shots on Seth Rollins as well. Rollins then runs into a knee by Logan Paul. Logan Paul then picks up Rollins, and then Rollins goes for repeated elbows. Rollins then runs into the corner, and then we get a springboard crossbody by Logan, and then he goes for the standing moonsault. We get a cover and a near fall. Logan tries to go for the cover once again, but we get a near fall as well. We then get a kick by Logan, followed by a right forearm after that. Logan then goes for the side Russian leg sweep, and then he applies a modified octopus hold. Basically, it's a seated version of the octopus hold, as the commentators were mentioning. Rollins then tries to fight to escape, and then we get a right hand by Rollins, but then Logan Paul fights back with an elbow strike. And then we get repeated open hand strikes by Rollins. Logan then hits the gut wrench on Rollins, and then we get a cover and a near fall. And then we get repeated rights by Logan Paul. At this point, Logan jumps to the ring. He misses the moonsault, and then Rollins gets up, but then Rollins runs into repeated rights. After that, he begins to regain control. Then Rollins throws Logan Paul to the outside. Rollins then goes for the suicide dive. Goes back in the ring, hits a second suicide dive. Goes back in the ring once again, and hits a third suicide dive. After that, Rollins then stomps on the hand of Logan Paul on the steel steps, and you can tell Logan Paul was in fucking pain. He sold that shit like his life depended on it. After that, once we're back in the ring, we get a kick by Rollins, and Rollins sets up the pedigree. Then Logan counters and holds him up, and then we get a roll-up by Rollins, and we get a near fall. Then after that, Logan Paul goes for the roll-up once again. We get a bunch of role reversals by both. At this point, Logan hits his famous right hand, the one lucky shot. And then after that, we get a cover by Logan, and we get a kick out by Rollins. After that, Rollins catches Logan up and hits the powerbomb. We then get a cover and a near fall. But then, of course, and I forgot to mention this at the top of this match, but when Logan Paul came out, there was another guy that came out basically in a bodysuit the size of a Prime bottle. And we found out who the person of the Prime bottle is under that costume. And it's fucking none other than KSI. KSI shows up at WrestleMania. Of course, he is his business partner. And then Rollins then gets sent to the ring post. And then what happens is that he gets placed onto the announce table. And what happens is KSI basically holds on to Seth Rollins. And what happens after that is Logan Paul has his phone, and he's up the top of the rope. He's basically going to be doing the same thing that he did to Roman Reigns or actually, I believe he missed, but he's going to do the same thing that he did at Crown Jewel. And basically what happens in this moment of the match had me laughing my ass off. So you had KSI literally hold Seth Rollins down onto the announce table. And then what happens after that is that Rollins pulls KSI, which leads to basically Logan jumping off, Rollins pulling KSI, and then literally by accident, Logan Paul drops down on KSI. The funniest shit ever. After that, back in the ring, we get a pedigree by Rollins. We get a cover and a near fall. I believe he hit the pedigree. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then we get a rolling elbow by Rollins. And then we get a shot to the back of the neck of Logan Paul. Rollins then runs onto the shoulders of Logan Paul. Logan then picks up Seth Rollins and hits the GTS, CM Punk's own move. And then he goes to the top. He hits the frog splash, and we get a cover and a close-ass near fall. Logan then stomps away at Seth Rollins. Logan then goes to the top, and then he lands into a super kick on his face by Rollins. And then all of a sudden, Rollins hits the curve stomp, and we get a cover, and Seth Rollins gets the win. Overall thoughts on this match? This match was amazing, in my opinion. I loved all of the body of work that both Seth Rollins and Logan Paul did. This match, in my opinion, definitely stole the show. And you were to expect that coming into this match. It's just, in my opinion, the build wasn't really as good as it should have been. And I was kind of questioning, really the promo skills of Logan Paul, even if he was a heel. But we all know the best version of Logan Paul is definitely a heel version of Logan Paul. But overall, this match definitely had me amazed by all of the crazy spots, the entertaining portion of the match in which you had KSI being involved. That was the funniest shit ever. Everything about this match was just pure perfection. Fantastic stuff right there. And hopefully Logan Paul sticks around, because definitely it'd be a shame if, WWE does not re-sign Logan Paul. But most likely, I genuinely believe Logan Paul will be re-signed by the WWE. In our next match, another match that I just really did not give a shit about, but definitely blew away all my expectations, we had Damage Control. Bayley, Io Shirai, and Dakota Kai taking on Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus. Overall thoughts on this match, it's pretty much safe to say that the MVP of this match was 100% Trish Stratus. Trish Stratus did things that you would not expect Trish Stratus to do in this match. But that is not to take away from Becky Lynch, Lita, or the rest of Damage Control. There was a lot of portions in this match that definitely amazed me, and a lot of portions of the match that I definitely 100% enjoyed. But I will say this, even though the match was fantastic, it was definitely a tough follow for Logan Paul and Seth Rollins. I mean, how do you follow Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins? The question is very simple, and the answer is very simple. You just don't. But somehow the women managed to follow that match, and thankfully it wasn't a match that was just flat out boring. They definitely brought their A game coming into this match, because they knew they needed to follow Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins. But let's discuss the match. A brawl breaks loose, and then Damage Control are on the outside. We then get a baseball slide dropkick by Becky Lynch, and at this point, the bell rings. Dakota Kai goes for the Scorpion King. Not the sport. I said the Scorpion King. The Scorpion Kick. Well, I don't know where the hell I got Scorpion King from, the old movie with The Rock. But she goes after Becky into the corner. Io then tags in. We get a cover by Io and a near fall. And then Becky goes for repeated rights on Io, who is in the corner. And then she goes for the springboard shotgun dropkick. After that, we get a cover and a near fall. Bayley then tags in. We get the triple team by Damage Control. And then we get a cover by Dakota and a near fall. We get a running kick into the corner on Bayley, but then we get a cover and by Dakota, and a near fall. Bayley then comes in, but then Bayley gets taken to the outside. Becky tries to tag Trish, but then Trish gets taken out to the outside by Bayley. We get a double team attempt by Dakota and Io Sky, but then Becky fights back. Dakota then takes Becky into the corner. Up and over, Dakota is up on the apron. After that, we get a right hand by Lita, who is on the apron. And then Lita actually manages to tag in. At this point, she goes after everyone. We get a Hurricane Rana by Lita on Io Shirai. After that, Lita then is upside down onto basically she's upside down into the corner, and she leg whips Io headfirst onto the turnbuckle. At this point, Lita is in control. We then get a back elbow by Lita, and then she plants her down with the vertigo. After that, we get a cover and a near fall. Lita then gets sent into the corner, but then Lita drops Sky down to the mat. At this point, Lita is on the top. Then Dakota then goes for the kick on the back of the neck of Lita, taking her down. After that, we get a cover by Io and a near fall. Bayley then tags in after that. We then get a triple super kick by Damage Control on Lita. And then we get a cover by Bayley and a near fall. Damage Control continue to work on Lita after that. Io Sky then tags in. She continues to work on Lita, but then Dakota tags in. She drives her knee onto the back of the neck of Lita, but then we get a cover by Dakota, and once again, she goes for the near fall. After that, Bayley enters the fray. We get a double team by Io and Bayley. After that, goes and counters with a double DDT on both members of Damage Control. At this point, Trish Stratus tags in. She proceeds to go after everybody. After that, Trish goes for the Thez Press. After that, we get a chop by Trish on Dakota, and she goes for the double Hurricane Rana on both members of Damage Control. And then she hits the neck breaker on Dakota. We get a cover and a near fall. And then Dakota goes for the running elbow. Stratus then gets taken down to the mat, but then Dakota is on the top. Trish continues to fight off Damage Control on the outside, but then Lita and Becky take Trish up, and Trish hits the head scissors on Dakota on the outside with the help of the support of Becky and Lita on the outside on the rest of Damage Control. That was actually a pretty badass spot in my opinion. And then back in the ring, Trish goes for the cover, but we get a kick out. Lita then tries to make the tag, and she does. She takes out Dakota into the corner. Becky tags in. She hits the leg drop below, and then Becky applies the disarmor on Dakota. And then Bayley comes back with a kick. We then get a drop kick on Trish, taking her to the outside. At this point, Bayley is the legal woman. We get a right hand by Becky, and then a right hand once again. And then she goes for the running clothesline onto the back of the neck of Bayley, but then Becky goes for the back suplex. After that, Damage Control interferes, and then Bayley hits the rose plant on Becky, and then we get a cover by Becky and a near fall when Lita makes the save. At this point, Dakota hits a kick, and after that, Trish Stratus hits the Stratus faction. After that, Bayley hits the belly to belly. Becky, though, goes for the roll-up on Bayley, and we get a near fall. At this point, everybody is on the outside. Io Sky then goes to the top. She hits the moonsault on everyone. Beautiful shot right there. Everybody makes it back in the ring before the count of 10. Becky and Bayley are the legal women. Io tags in, Lita tags in, but then Becky and Bayley tag back, so they are now legal. At this point, a brawl breaks loose with everybody involved in the match. And then Lita goes for the twist of fate on Io. The chick kick by Trish. After that, Lita goes to the top, hits her amazing moonsault. I still mark out when Lita does her moonsault. After that, Becky and Bayley are on the top, but then Becky counters with the manhandle slam off the top, and we get a cover. And Becky and Lydia and Trish win the match. Overall thoughts on this match. For a match that was definitely hard to follow, Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins, overall, this match 100% did its job. This match was everything that it needed to be, in my opinion, and they definitely did very well in this match. In my opinion, definitely Trish was the MVP of this match. Trish Stratus looked great, and fun fact actually about Trish Stratus, I believe, wore a modern version, as Michael Cole stated on commentary, of her ring attire from WrestleMania 21. So, of course, back at WrestleMania 21, they were having the theme of WrestleMania Goes Hollywood as well. So it was great that Trish Stratus definitely paid tribute to that. So that was great to see. But overall, Trish definitely looked great in that match. But that is not to take away anything from Lita. Lita did very well as well, same as Becky. And Damage Control did relatively well. Now, the question is, what are we going to be doing after? Now, we all know Becky and Lita still have the Women's Tag Team Championships. What the hell are they going to be doing with those tag team titles? And who is going to beat Becky and Lita for those tag team championships? That's a very interesting question, but let's be honest with ourselves. The women's tag team championships do not mean anything whatsoever. We then get one of my favorite matches of the entire night, Rey Mysterio versus his own son, his own flesh and blood, and member of the Judgment Day, Dominik Mysterio. If there was any other storyline besides the Bloodline storyline that definitely has you invested, it's this feud and this storyline right here. From the moment Dominik went to Judgment Day, from the moment Dominik joined Judgment Day, and from the moment he cut that first promo, there was a lot of doubts, including myself. I was definitely one of those doubters. But then as we fast forward and they had that slow buildup of Dominik and Rhea Ripley, and, we had that chemistry between the two, and then that led to both of them, interfering and invading Rey Mysterio's house when basically, during major holidays like Thanksgiving or Christmas. All of that slow build, of course, led to where we are now with Dominik just going after his father verbally, talking about how he wishes he was Eddie's son, blah, blah, blah. A lot of crazy shit that Dominik stated. Just the build up to this match was pure perfection, in my opinion, and it 100% paid off. Now, I will say, Dominik losing this match was definitely a shock to me. I actually thought Dominik was actually going to be getting the win. But overall thoughts is this feud is not over whatsoever. I believe definitely this feud is going to be continuing after WrestleMania, and that is not a bad thing. Dominik definitely had legit heel heat, especially after last night, considering the fact that right before Rey Mysterio was going to tell everybody his speech that he was going to be having at the Hall of Fame, Dominik, Rhea Ripley, and Damian Priest left the building. Or not left the building, just left their seats and went backstage. So you knew for a fact Dominik was going to get more legit heel heat than he had already had. But overall, this was a fantastic match. My only gripe about this match was not even the match or anything involving Rey Mysterio or Dominik or his family or anything. My only gripe, and this is basically a production thing. I get that they are sponsoring Cinnamon Toast Crunch, but Jesus Christ, they did not have to overdo it. They literally had the Cinnamon Toast Crunch logo like all over the LED barricade. It was so fucking distracting during an amazing match between Dominik and Rey Mysterio. It was just ridiculous. My biggest issue with WWE is we all know they are the masters of production, and I appreciate that. But sometimes when it comes to WWE, that pisses me off a lot is that they overdo a bunch of shit. And this is one of those instances, in my opinion. The fact that, they had a sponsored match, which was this match, with Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and they had a bunch of, childish Cinnamon Toast Crunch LEDs all over around the barricade. I don't know, man. It was definitely really distracting watching this amazing match unfold. That is, this match was fucking awesome. Amazing match overall. Dominik comes out with an LAPD escort because we all know Dominik, he's from the streets. He made it in jail. He made it in jail. Like, he is a legit man, dude. He came out with the LED. This guy is certified. We all know that. Rey comes out, and let me tell you, Rey Mysterio's entrance was bad fucking ass. He comes out with the lowrider, and the music that plays is G-Thang with Snoop Dogg in his corner in the lowrider. Oh my God. When G-Thang played, I marked out. He came out to G-Thang, and then after G-Thang, Eddie Guerrero's theme plays as well. Of course, Rey Mysterio paying tribute to the late, great Eddie Guerrero. Great stuff. Fantastic entrances by both Dominik and Rey Mysterio. Once they made those entrances, you knew that this match was going to be something special. And then the match starts. Overall thoughts on the match itself. The match was everything that it needed to be. If you want top-tier storytelling, if you want top-tier athleticism, this is the match for you, and this match 110% delivered. Dominik pushes Rey. We get a waist lock by Dominik, and then Rey takes Dominik to the outside. Dominik then comes back, and then Dominik pushes him. We then get a shoulder tackle by Dominik, but then we get a Hurricane Rana by Rey on Dominik. Rey then sends Dominik into the corner. And this part had me laughing my ass off. As a Hispanic kid myself, this was definitely a treat, man. Rey sends Dominik into the corner. And then Rey goes for the head scissors, taking Dominik to the second rope. And what happens? Rey busts out his belt and spanks the shit out of Dominik. You have Angie and Aaliyah in the corner literally being, yeah, do that shit to Dominik. As a Hispanic man, hey, man, I felt that. I really did felt that, in my opinion. Rey goes after Dominik. So after that, so what happens is, after Dominik spanked the shit out of Dominik, Dominik is on the outside, and he goes face-to-face with his sister, Aaliyah. And what he does is the most heelish shit I've ever seen in my life, and MJF would be proud. He basically takes the drink and splashes it all over Aaliyah's face, which pisses off Aaliyah. Rey, then after that, goes after Dominik. Rey then gets taken after that by Dominik to the ring post. Dominik then goes for a somersault over the top rope. We then get a cover by Dominik and a near fall. Dominik then continues to be in control. And then Dominik applies the abdominal stretch. And then Rey regains control. Quick note, though. One thing I forgot to mention at the top of this was Bad Bunny was actually on commentary in the Spanish commentary team for this match, and Bad Bunny does play an integral role in the finish of this match. I just wanted to mention that because I forgot to mention it at the top of this match. But continuing on, we get a kick by Dominik. Dominik then goes for the deep arm drag, and then he hits the Michinoku driver. Then we get a cover by Dominik into the near fall. Dominik then drives Rey over the top rope. Dominik is on the outside. And while Dominik is in control, Michael Cole on commentary is just being pissed off. If there's one thing that you can say fantastically well about this whole feud, is that Michael Cole on commentary is really selling this Dominik heel shit right here, man. He is selling it like he is a complete piece of shit human being. And that's why Michael Cole is literally amazing at his job. Dominik then faces off with his own mother in the front row. So he drags Rey to the outside, and he faces off with his own mother. And a quick note on that is, you heard Angie speak, and Angie told Dominik, "Te voy a darte." Again, I'm Hispanic myself, and I know exactly what that means. Basically means you're going to get it. You're going to get an ass whooping. She told Dominik, "Te voy a darte." The funniest shit ever. Great selling by Angie, in my opinion. After that, Angie slaps Dominik. And then Rey takes out Dominik, and Rey kisses his loving wife, Angie, after amazing, heartfelt moment. You can tell Rey loves his wife. In the ring, Rey then goes for the senton and the crossbody. After that, we get a cover and a near fall. Dominik then goes for the kick. And then Rey goes for a destroyer on Dominik, and then we get a cover and a near fall. What happens after that? Damian Priest and Finn Balor of the Judgment Day surround the ring, which leads to Dominik Mysterio to regain control of the match. And then Dominik drives Rey onto the bottom turnbuckle after that. And then after that, we get a cover by Dominik and a near fall. Dominik then manages to set up the three amigos on Rey Mysterio. And then what happens is, when he goes for the second amigo, after that, Dominik gets driven to the middle rope by Rey Mysterio. And then Rey hits the 619. After that, Rey goes to the top, but then Balor and Priest interfere. Priest pulls Rey down, and then Dominik regains control, but then Dominik sends Rey into the corner. And then he has Rey up on his shoulders, but then Rey fights back, and both get taken to the outside. But then the Latino World Order, Santos Escobar, Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde, all the members from Legado del Fantasma come in and fight Damian Priest and Finn Balor. Priest hits a clothesline on Cruz del Toro. After that, Santos goes to the top on Priest. Rey is in the ring, but then Dominik hits a furious lariat after that. But then Dominik slingshots Rey to the middle rope. Dominik then hits the 619, but then Dominik goes to the top. He hits the frog splash, and we get a cover and a close-ass near fall. After that, Dominik exposes the top turnbuckle, but then the referee catches him. Dominik then has a steel chain. And then what happens after he grabs the steel chain without the referee looking is Bad Bunny leaves from the commentary desk where he is at, and he takes the chain away from Dominik. Ray hits a dropkick, and after that, Ray hits the 619, follows up by going to the top and hitting the frog splash. We get a cover by Ray, and Rey Mysterio beats his own son, Dominik, in this amazing, story-driven, just fantastic match. Chaos and just emotion. Fantastic match overall by Rey Mysterio and Dominik Mysterio. This was definitely a great match, a very entertaining match. There's a lot of moments in this match where I definitely just either was just entertained or laughing in a good way because, you know, Dominik as a heel is sadistic and insane, but like when he gets his ass whooped, especially by his own father, I don't know why I managed to laugh. You know, when Angie told Dominik, when Dominik faced off with Angie, who was in the front row, and she told Dominik, "Te voy a darte," I don't know why, man. I laughed my ass off when she told me that because I'm Hispanic myself, and I knew exactly what she meant. You don't fuck with somebody that tells you that. I'll tell you that right now. But overall, man, that was a great match. I loved Rey Mysterio versus Dominik. Just flat out badass match overall. Granted, I expected Dominik to actually get the win over his father, but after the match, it goes to show you that this match is not over at all, and I do believe we're going to be seeing an eventual rematch between these two. Now, are we going to be seeing it at Backlash? Most likely not. I definitely do see with the, you know, involvement of the LWO and Finn Balor and Damian Priest, we're possibly looking at the chances of a tag team match. That is just my pure speculation. Don't count me on it for Backlash next month in Puerto Rico, but we're just going to have to wait and see. But overall, I thought Rey Mysterio versus Dominik was just a fantastic match overall. Hats off to both Rey and Dominik and everybody involved. This story definitely paid off, and it's only going to get better as we head towards the next couple of weeks, as we head towards Backlash. All right. After that, we got the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Of course, we got Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. Overall thoughts on this match. This match, man, will probably go down as the best women's match of 2023. Asuka's going to be wrestling Bianca Belair tomorrow night at WrestleMania. And I am sorry, but that match is not. That match ain't topping what we saw tonight at WrestleMania between Charlotte and Rhea. This match is the definition of pure perfection, pure insanity, and just pure, just like top tier, just craziness by Rhea Ripley. This match was insane, and a lot of people were saying that this match deserved to be the main event. I'm going to sit here and say that this match not being the main event was the right decision to make because of the fact that everybody, because we all know the storyline that everybody is invested in is Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and the Usos. If that match did not main event tonight's WrestleMania, there would have been a complete outrage when it came to this match, and that match wouldn't be as good as the match that we saw tonight, in my opinion. What we saw on this match definitely exceeded everybody's expectations, and that is 100% a good thing. But let's talk about the match, man. The match was flat out awesome. Both women lock up. Charlotte then targets the arm of Rhea Ripley, and then Charlotte goes for the side headlock. Charlotte then goes for the shoulder tackle, and then Rhea shoulder tackles Charlotte back. Shoulder tackle by Charlotte again. But then Charlotte clotheslines Rhea to the outside. After she clotheslines Rhea to the outside, Rhea comes back into the ring. She goes in the face of Charlotte Flair. And then we get a chop by Charlotte. And then Rhea goes after Charlotte repeatedly in the corner. Charlotte is up on the apron. And then Charlotte hits a boot on Rhea Ripley. Charlotte then goes to the top. And then she hits a crossbody off the top. Rhea then hits an elbow. And then we get a high kick by Charlotte in the corner. Rhea has Charlotte up on her shoulders. And Rhea drops Charlotte down to the turnbuckles face first. And then we get repeated stomps by Rhea Ripley. And then Rhea is now in control over Charlotte Flair. And then Charlotte gets taken down. She gets driven face first into the corner. And then Rhea continues to be in control, and then she drives Charlotte face first to the mat. Charlotte then goes for repeated rights on Rhea to the mat. Rhea then misses a boot, and then we get a roll-up by Charlotte, and then we get a near fall. And then we get a shot to the back by Rhea Ripley, and then again by Rhea Ripley once again. She goes for the shot to the back of Charlotte again, and then Rhea, at this point, is just super over as hell with the crowd. Rhea then goes for the German suplex. We get a cover and a near fall, and then we get a short arm clothesline by Rhea Ripley, and then Charlotte goes for the back elbow after that. Charlotte, after the back elbow spot, then drives Rhea face first onto the top turnbuckle. After that, Charlotte hits the clothesline, but then Charlotte goes for a chop on Rhea Ripley. After the chop, we get repeated chops by Charlotte, and then drives her knee onto the knee of Rhea Ripley. Charlotte then gets taken to the apron, but then we get a right hand by Charlotte, and then she sends her face first once again to the turnbuckle. At this point, Charlotte goes for repeated rights, and then Charlotte counters the Riptide attempt by Rhea Ripley into a beautiful DDT. Charlotte goes for the cover, and we get a near fall. And the first of many times, Charlotte actually tries to go for the figure four, but then Rhea blocks her from doing it. Charlotte tries again, but then Rhea kicks her off again. Rhea goes for the roll-up, and we get a near fall. At this point, both women knock each other down with a double boot. Both women exchange shots. Rhea then stomps the foot of Charlotte, but then Charlotte throws Rhea across the ring. Charlotte then gets up, but then she goes to the top. Rhea enters the fray, but then Charlotte comes back. But then Rhea comes back and hits a German suplex, which leads to Charlotte to not fall down on her back. It leads to Charlotte falling down face first to the mat. Brutality at its finest. We get a cover by Rhea Ripley and a near fall. Charlotte then goes for the natural selection. We then get a cover and a near fall, and then Rhea sidesteps Charlotte, and Charlotte sends herself to the steel steps. Rhea then drives Charlotte face first to the mat, and then we get a cover by Rhea and a near fall, but then Charlotte counters the Riptide into a German suplex. But then Rhea gets up. Charlotte then goes for the waist lock and hits a second German suplex. Charlotte then maintains the waist lock, and then we get a back elbow by Rhea Ripley. Ripley then goes for the German of her own, driving Charlotte face first to the mat again. Rhea then fights off Charlotte, and then we get a waist lock by Rhea, and then Charlotte hits the big boot. And then we get a cover and a near fall. And then Charlotte tries to apply the figure four, but then Rhea escapes. Rhea is on the apron, but then Charlotte hits the big boot, taking Rhea to the outside. And then Charlotte then is on the apron, but then Charlotte goes to the top and hits a moonsault on the outside. After that, she takes Rhea back into the ring. We get a takedown by Charlotte, and then Charlotte tries to go for the figure four once again, but then Rhea again does not let her apply it. Charlotte then misses the spear, almost knocking down the referee. Rhea then goes for the headbutt, but then Rhea hits the Riptide, and we get a cover. And let me tell you that this was a close-ass near fall. This was legitimately a close-ass near fall. After that, Rhea then gets up, and then we get a roll-up by Charlotte, and we get a near fall. And then Rhea applies the prison lock on Charlotte. Charlotte then drags herself onto the bottom rope. And then Rhea knocks the referee down. Charlotte then goes for the spear, and then we get a cover and a near fall. But then Charlotte proceeds to cry because she is literally shocked, and she does not know what to do to take out Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley then fights back. Both women exchange shots after that. Rhea goes for the high kick, but then Charlotte goes for the big boot. And then Charlotte, finally, after all of these different attempts, she applies the figure four leg lock. But Rhea Ripley found an interesting way to counter that. She puts her hands on both of the bottom ropes. And then Charlotte has the shocked look on her face because, again, she does not know what the hell she needs to do. And then Charlotte sends Rhea to the ring post, and then Charlotte goes to the top, and then Charlotte picks her up, but then Rhea escapes. Both are on the top, and then both fight it out, but then we get a chop by Rhea, but then Charlotte lands onto the top rope, top of the post, I should say. What happens is she lands on the top of the post, face first, and that knocks out Charlotte Flair. She gets Charlotte up, that being Rhea Ripley. And Rhea Ripley hits the Super Riptide, and we get a cover, and Rhea Ripley wins and is your new SmackDown Women's Champion. Overall thoughts on this match. I don't know about you guys, but this was another example of a show stealer. And we had a lot of show stealers on this show. But again, this blew away everybody's expectations. Going into this match, you knew that Rhea Ripley was going to win the title. It was pretty logical, and it made total sense for Rhea to win this match. If Charlotte won this match, the outrage on social media would have been absolute insanity. It would have been absolute insanity, in my opinion. And overall, this match just blew away everybody's expectations. Charlotte looked great. Rhea Ripley looked great. This will probably go down as the best women's match of 2023. And I'll even go as far as to say this was probably one of the best matches of the year. And we are only in the beginning of April. We're not even halfway of the year yet. We're almost halfway, but we're not there yet. This match was fantastic. Everything about this match was great, and this match further solidified Rhea Ripley as a top star in the women's division, and this is only going to be elevating her to the next level. Rhea Ripley is your new SmackDown Women's Champion. Great call by WWE. Great match overall. Both women killed it. Hats off to both. They definitely stole the show. The Miz and Snoop Dogg Austin Theory has a backstage interview, and he is asked, where is Head at? And he talked about how he said it, he did it, and he made John Cena believe. Do you believe in Theory now? Wow. And then all of a sudden, The Miz and Snoop Dogg are in the ring, and they announce the WrestleMania attendance record for night one, and it is 80,497 people attended WrestleMania tonight at SoFi Stadium. And then Snoop Dogg says it would have been better if Miz had a match tonight. And then Miz proceeds to put him over, and he says that he went to social media and issued an open challenge, and nobody responded. And then he basically continues to put himself over, and what happens? Pat McAfee, the one and only Pat McAfee, comes out, and he handshakes Snoop, and he puts over Snoop, and he says hi to Miz, and then he speaks for all of them, and he lives on social media, but none of us saw The Miz issue an open challenge. But the good news is he has his WrestleMania tank top, and he basically challenges Miz to a match. And what happens is Miz says there is nothing that he would love to do than whoop him right here, right now, but he is the host, so he cannot make matches. And then Pat says that he thinks he has his tiny balls showing up, and then Snoop says that he feels that he can make that match happen. So then the match is basically official, and we got Pat McAfee going after Miz, Pat going for the spine buster, and he goes to the top. Miz tries to fight back, but then Pat regains the advantage. Then all of a sudden you have Michael Cole, and this is something I forgot to mention, but when Pat McAfee came out, man, Michael Cole just marked out for this dude. You can tell he was just so happy that Pat McAfee is back. You can really tell, man, Michael Cole loves his job, and that's what I really love about this incarnation of Michael Cole, man. This Michael Cole is the best version of Michael Cole, and I'll go as far as to say that this is definitely on par with the Michael Cole from like 2002 and 2003 SmackDown. It's really that good. But overall, later on after that, Corey Graves screams at Miz saying, "Think marbles." And then Miz retreats. And then after that, Miz pushes George Kittle from the 49ers, who was in the crowd. And then he goes over the barricade, but then George, after that, hits a clothesline on Miz. Pat goes to the top and he hits a senton. Once back in the ring, Pat pump kicks the shit out of the Miz, and we get a cover, and Pat McAfee basically wins this unofficial match for WrestleMania. Great entertaining stuff, but overall nothing really special. I love the fact that Pat McAfee is back, but is he going to be back on the commentary team? It looks like he's not, which sucks because I think Pat McAfee is fantastic, and the chemistry that he has with Michael Cole is just pure perfection. But overall, great, just great moment overall. The Miz was hilarious. Pat McAfee was great, of course, at what he did, and the involvement of Snoop Dogg was just fantastic as well. So hats off to all of them. We then get the main event of the evening. We got the Usos versus Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens for the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championships. The match that everybody has been anticipating throughout these past few months, and the match that everybody expected to happen at WrestleMania. What are my initial thoughts of this match, man? This match is the definition of a WrestleMania main event. If you want a WrestleMania main event to legit steal the show, this is the match to do it. And let me tell you, when I say these guys stole the show, these guys stole the show. I'll continue on and basically continuing to put over this match after I go through everything that happened, because there's a lot of things that I want to say about this match. But overall, this match was badass. It was awesome. Everything about it was just fantastic. You would even have a lot of WWE haters coming in and literally say, wow, this match is just fucking awesome. And it really was. But enough about me talking. I'll talk about later about this match after I go through all the moments that happened in this match, spot after spot. Sammy and Jimmy start the match. But what happens is Jimmy turns over to Jay. Jay tags in. Sammy and Jay start the match. Both lock up. We get a side headlock by Jay, followed by a shoulder tackle. Both then lock up again. We then get a side headlock by Jay once again. Sammy then goes for the Thez press. He goes after Jay and goes for repeated rights. And then we get a right hand by Sami Zayn. After that, Jimmy tags in. Sammy gets taken to the outside. Jimmy then hits a clothesline on the outside, but then Jimmy then sends Sammy to the ring post. Jay then tags in. Jay goes for the tope suicida. And then Jay hits a suplex on Sammy onto the floor. He takes Sammy back into the ring. Jay Uso hits a right hand. And then Jay goes for repeated rights on Sammy on the middle rope. Jimmy, who is on the apron, hits a boot on Sami Zayn. Jimmy then tags in. He stomps on Sammy, and then we get repeated rights by Jimmy. And then he gets a cheap shot on Kevin Owens, who is on the apron, who is not legal in this match yet. We then get a chop by Jimmy on Sammy, and then we get a double team attempt by the Usos. After that, we get a cover by Jay, who is the legal man, and a near fall. At this point, Jay Uso is in control over Sami Zayn. Sammy then tries to fight back, but then both Usos are sent to the outside. KO then tags in. He goes to the top and he hits a senton on the outside, taking out both Jimmy and Jay. After that, he sends Jimmy onto the post, and then he takes out Jay, and then he manages to hit the frog splash off the apron on Jimmy onto the floor. Once we're back in the ring, KO hits a frog splash on Jay, and then we get a cover by KO and a near fall. KO then goes for the kick, but then Jay goes for the neck breaker. We get a cover and a near fall, and then Jay gets taken down, and then we get, after that, KO goes for the Swanton Bomb, but then Jay gets the knees up, and then Jimmy immediately goes for the Uso splash. We get a cover by Jimmy and a near fall. At this point, Jimmy Uso is the legal man. It lands into the corner. We get two super kicks by KO, and then KO hits the cannonball into the corner, but then KO goes to the top, but then Jay Uso grabs the boot of KO, but then Sammy enters the fray. Sammy hits a brainbuster on Jay onto the apron. KO goes for the swanton on Jimmy, and then we get a cover and a near fall. Sammy goes to the top, and Sammy manages to hit the Uso splash on Jimmy. We get a cover by Sammy and a near fall. At this point, we get the ole, ole, ole chant singing along with the crowd. And we get a bunch of elbows by Jimmy. And then we get a kick. He kicks KO. Sammy tries to hit the Blue Thunder Bomb, but then Jay makes the tag. And then basically, Sammy actually managed to hit the Blue Thunder Bomb, but then Jay, who is the legal man, hits the super kick. And then Sami runs into a kick by Jey Uso. We then get a cover and a near fall. And then Jey Uso literally screams at Sami Zayn and says, "You hear that shit?" And then he super kicks Sami. At this point, Jey gets super pissed off. Jimmy tags in. We get a bunch of super kicks by both Usos on Sami Zayn, the same way that they punished Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble. We get a double super kick by the Usos, and we get a cover, and Kevin Owens makes the save. But then after, we get a super kick. They super kick Kevin Owens, and then they go for the double super kick on Sami Zayn. We get a cover by Jey on Sami and a near fall. Jey tags in. Both Usos take out Sami. They try to hit the 1D. KO drags Jimmy out of the ring, and then we get a roll-up immediately by Sami Zayn, and we get a near fall. KO then drives Jimmy onto the announce table, but then Jey comes in. We get a super kick by Jimmy on KO, but then both Usos take out Kevin Owens, and both drive Kevin Owens through the table. Kevin Owens is officially taken out of the equation. After that, Sami is in the ring. The Usos hit their finishing move, the 1D, the one and done. We get a cover, and again, Sami Zayn kicks the fuck out. How the hell is Sami Zayn still in this damn match? Jey screams at Sami, telling him, "Why don't you just quit?" He goes into the face of Sami and he screams. He thought he was his brother, and he slaps and just right hands Sami repeatedly. Sami then gets up, but then Jey Uso, hits Sami's own move, the haluva kick. And Jey screams he should have never loved the bloodline. And then Sami hits the exploder suplex on Jey out of nowhere in the corner. And then Kevin Owens is up on the apron. Kevin Owens tags in. He hits the pump-up powerbomb on Jimmy. And then on Jey. Sami hits the haluva kick then after that on Jimmy. And then he hits a stunner on Jey. And then we get a cover and a damn kick out, says Michael Cole on commentary. KO then gets Sami up. Then the Usos get up. Both teams face off. And then both brawl with a standing ovation from the crowd. All four men just fight it out. We then get a super kick by Jimmy on Sami. Kevin Owens with the super kick on Jimmy, and then on Jey. Jimmy then goes for the blind tag. You get a bunch of super kicks on Kevin Owens, followed by a double super kick on Kevin Owens, and then on Sami. Jimmy then tags in. After that, Jey and Jimmy go to the top, and then they manage to hit the Uso splash. We get a cover and a near fall, and then Jey gets Kevin Owens up into the corner. Jimmy then tags in. We get a double super kick on Kevin Owens. Jey then tags in, and then they take KO up. Jey goes up to the top, but then Sami drags Jimmy, and then Jimmy gets sent to the announce table, and then Kevin Owens counters and drives Jey down off the top. At this point, the tag is made. Sami Zayn is the legal man. Sami Zayn has Jey in the corner. Haluva kick. Jey is on Sami. Basically, he's literally just like down and out. And then Sami takes Jey to the corner again. Second haluva kick. And then Sami takes Jey once again. And then what happens is Kevin Owens. Jimmy actually comes in, but then he gets caught in a stunner by Kevin Owens. And then Jey again is in the corner. Third haluva kick on Jey Uso. We get a cover. 1, 2, 3. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn dethrone the Usos and officially end their almost 2-year-long reign as SmackDown and Raw Tag Team Champions. What a match. What a moment. A standing ovation for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. This moment is the pure definition of what a WrestleMania moment should be. Everything about this match was top tier perfection. This had story. This had emotion. This had insanity. This had athleticism. This had moments that literally made you shocked. You had moments that were literally had you on the edge of your feet. This match is the definition of what a WrestleMania main event should be. And you had people literally say that this match shouldn't main event WrestleMania because it's a tag team match. Well, newsflash, tag team wrestling fucking draws, and this is the definition of that. This match was top tier tag team wrestling, and this is exactly what a main event of WrestleMania should be. This match was amazing, and this will go down as possibly the match of the year of 2023. Now, I know that sounds like a stretch, but it's true, man. The fans were literally invested in this match. Hats off to Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Jimmy and Jey Uso. This was flat out amazing. Just amazing at the end of the day. And with the Usos losing the tag team championships, what does that say for Roman Reigns tomorrow night? Or I should say tonight, as this video is going to be up by then. What is it going to mean for Roman Reigns? What is the fate of Roman Reigns in his match against Cody Rhodes? I don't know, man. There is a big chance that Roman Reigns could possibly lose his titles. Keep in mind, people need to understand that there is a greater story to be told, and it doesn't even need to involve the championships. Literally, the Usos losing their tag team titles and Roman Reigns losing his titles to Cody Rhodes, that is the beginning of another story to be told. Now you're going to start to document the beginning of the end of the bloodline, and of course the catalyst of this whole thing, and the whole catalyst to close the entire story of the bloodline is only one person, and that person is Jey Uso. In kayfabe, what is Roman's reaction going to be as we head towards WrestleMania tomorrow night? I don't know, man. There's a big chance that Roman could actually lose those championships, but overall, man, this match was amazing. Just amazing at the end of the day. You know, matches like this make me proud to be a wrestling fan. It really does. And the fact that this took place at WrestleMania, it just makes it even so much better. Because WrestleMania main events throughout these past couple of years, let's be honest, weren't really the best, especially last year's. We had Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar in the main event. You know, we had Steve Austin wrestle KO in the main event of night one. But let's be honest, man. Nothing gets better than this. And all four men in this match gave it their all, man. Hats off to all four. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn finally dethroned the Usos, and they are your new undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions. But yeah, that was my WrestleMania Night 1 review. Overall thoughts on this show. This show was amazing. I really enjoyed this show for what it was, man. This show definitely felt like a WrestleMania caliber show. This show definitely is the definition of WrestleMania. This show, man, felt like WrestleMania to me. The moments in this show felt like WrestleMania to me. Literally every aspect about this show, even the matches that I did not care about, those over-delivered. And overall, man, hats off to WWE. They did a great job with this show. Now, the question that we really need to ask ourselves is, what is WWE going to do for Night 2? Are they going to top Night 2? We're just going to have to wait and see. But overall, Night 1 of WrestleMania will go down as one of the best pay-per-views of the year, in my opinion. And it definitely felt like WrestleMania. And WrestleMania is officially back, ladies and gentlemen. This is probably one of the best WrestleManias so far of all time. It's really heading towards that direction. And if you honestly believe that, I can't really blame you. But overall, WrestleMania 39 Night 1 was definitely a show to remember. But yeah, that was my WrestleMania 39 Night 1 review right here on the WrestleHavoc Podcast. Make sure to be on the lookout for my WrestleMania Night 2 review tomorrow night as well. But as always, please like, subscribe, comment down below, push that bell for notifications and be on the lookout for more videos right here on the WrestleHavoc Podcast, right here on YouTube, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content. And as the friggin' referee would say, ring, ring, ring that damn bell for more notifications. And as always, it is Flamin' Ricky DeRays, signing out. See you guys tomorrow.